Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Jamesia, the nurse practitioner extraordinaire. I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach, YouTube influencer, speaker, author, all the things. And I'm one fourth of Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And we're missing one member tonight, but the three of us are here and we're going to talk about mindset and health and how it affects your life. And so I want to introduce Maisha. Hey, girl.
Oh, hey. Hello, everyone. My name is Maisha. I am the Central Energy Alchemist. I am a master life coach and teacher of sensuality. Carmel, tossing the mic to you.
Thank you, thank you. I am Carmel Jean-Francois, owner and founder and CEO of CFIT Coaching. I work with individuals who have come to realize that they have a food and or sugar addiction, and I guide them in adapting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle in order to combat those conditions and whatever chronic conditions that come along with it. But I'm here to encourage everybody to add more plants to your plate. So back over to you, Dr. Jamesia. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, who are we? We are Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And ladies, we are the Black Coffee. Our lips drip with honey. And sometimes we got a little bit of grit. We've got sass, class, and all that ass, y'all. And so we are here to talk about real life and real situations that women of color, Black women, us, that we have. And tonight I thought it was important to talk about mindset and how it affects your health and your life. Um, as you all know, I just got off of a cruise and amazing vacation, and it was everything that I needed in my life. And I met a lot of amazing people, but really the people that stuck out to me were the ones that had a mindset that was so positive and wide open that I could see how it affect their health in a positive way, right? So I was like, I think that I want to talk about this. I want to talk about, oh, let me get myself in here. I want to talk about mindset and health. And mindset is kind of like a buzzword that has come up, but it's just life, right? It's how we think, how the universe moves based on how we feel about our life, ourselves, our surroundings, all of that stuff, right? But really, this mindset buzzwords type thing came up more from the concept of a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And that's really what brought the conversation back. And of course, self help and movement and business and all this stuff. Okay. Yes, that's kind of the premise of this conversation, but not really. The biggest thing that I get from mindset and from the way that the mind works with the way your health works and the way your environment is and the people that you attract towards you is mainly based on positivity. That's just me. And so, as we were discussing before we got on, I was telling the ladies that I wanted to talk about the power of positive thinking. And if by chance you all think about positive thinking, or if you think there's any power in that. Now, because I know these ladies, I think that I know for the most part they do, but there's also more to it, right? There's action that comes with the way we think and our mindset. And before we get into the deep conversation, I'm going to tell you about a situation that I had or a man that I met on my cruise. This gentleman was telling me that he used to be a nurse and he also enjoyed gambling. And he said, I really want to see how I can make what I love work for me. Even though I love nursing, I love delivering babies, but I love gambling and I love vacationing. So I want to see if I can make this a lifestyle. So what he did was he said he just changed his mind about how he wanted his life to look. He wanted a lifestyle of luxury, right? But he was not rich. So he said, I'm going to figure out what I can do. So he is a professional gambler slash lives on the cruise for 319 days a year.
Wow. Wow.
And is he loving it?
Loving it. So this is what he does. He gambles on the cruise. He, I guess, of course, spends his money, but he gets money, and they give him free cruises. They bring his wife in every month for a week, and he lives that lifestyle. Now, when I was listening to him, see your mouths are wide open, I was like, what? Something's to in my mind, I'm thinking, this guy is crazy. But then I'm thinking, this guy, a lot went through my mind, but his way of thinking was, I can have this lifestyle all the damn time. And he does. And he does. Right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to dinner, meeting these other people at the table. You know, I talk to everybody. Everybody's my friend.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to, I ended up sitting with a councilman of Jamaica, 70-year-old, soon to be retired UPS worker / millionaire, and 2 bus drivers. Just crazy, right? So the billionaire guy tells me, hey, I just bought a 4-bedroom house with a pool upstairs, downstairs in the Dominican Republic for $250,000. And I was like, what? And he said, and I said, why did you do that? Of course I'm talking. Why did you do it? What was the point? Da, da, da. He says, well, if I knew why I did it, I probably wouldn't have done it. I was in flow. I didn't think about it. I knew I wanted it. I had a little bit of extra money, and I did it. My mind told me I could. I did, and here we are. I'm going to figure it out along the way. So thus this conversation here about
I love that.
mindset, right? So I just want to say that I love conversations like that, because that is how I think. I do. I feel like I can have any and everything. I really do. But there's a limit, right? There is a limit sometimes to how big and wide and far that goes. But it really is only limited by me and what I think, right? I wanted to discuss with you all, how do you think mindset affects your health and your life? Expand or expound or say whatever you want based on what I just said happened to me on this cruise. And I feel like for me, it just opened up so much more for me. And then I talked to my best friend today, Coco. You guys know Coco. I have several best friends, but this particular one I'm talking about is Coco.
Yeah.
And she said, Jay, I decided I wanted to live a resort style life. And I've been looking at resort style living, and that's what I'm going to do. And then she says, how about we do XYZ together? You know, we're always doing stuff, but this was the conversation. So in my mind, I'm saying, okay, the universe is talking to me and telling me and bringing me all these messages. God, of course, the messages about mindset and the fact that however we think is how we live and how we be and how we exist. So what are you guys' thoughts?
Such good timing for you as you get ready to phase out of this particular time of your career into something else. Very interesting that you're running across all this.
I know. Right?
Yeah. That's part of what you said earlier with the universe and how it all just kind of like it flows. You mentioned the word flow.
Yeah.
That's so let me pick that up. I loved like when you said flow. And I feel like many times when I make decisions, like big decisions that might affect a few people, and I do it from a place of real like I feel good about it. And I'm thinking about one specific thing, everything turned out flawlessly. And in fact, it turned out bigger and better than I ever thought that it might. Mm-hmm. And then recently I made a series of decisions that didn't turn out so well. And left me thinking, why did I think so hastily? And I'm still trying to work that out in my head. But when I was making these series of decisions recently, I felt like I made it from a good place, and I made it with the intention of serving several people at a time. And yet some things, didn't turn out quite right. And I'm still trying to figure out some of the lessons. And I know that I know that I'm receiving lessons in all of it, but I want to see the bigger picture unfold. And through it all, I'm thinking it's going to be all right. This is good. It's going to be all right. I mean, what I'm talking about, very much first world problem, very, very much. But still, they make, as we go throughout our days and experience what we experience, they sit with us. So I've been pondering that and thinking that and knowing and understanding that these are first world problems, and I'll deal with them as it comes. I'm not going to discount them. They matter. And I feel like I'm in a really good place when it comes to positivity, to the point where some people might even think I'm a little naive. But I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. And I remember I've been like one of those entrepreneurs, MLM, multi-level marketing. I've been one of those since like my mid-30s, and reading all the books, getting all the power of positive thinking, all of those things, really working on my self-development. So I feel like that was, first of all, I was always like this happy-go-lucky and even naive and innocent, and wow, the world is so beautiful. I've been lucky that way. And I never realized how positive my mindset was and how good my world was until I met people who were so the opposite. And I'll give you an example. In what I do as far as construction is concerned, if a client says something that's a little off, I correct them. No, that's not the way it happens. This is the way it happens. Meanwhile, somebody very close to me is like, yeah, he knew that. He's just trying to come around and get over on us. And I'm like, wait. Why can't we give this person the benefit of the doubt? And even if that was his intention to get over on us, why would I expend so much energy in trying to prove him wrong and trying to say, you trying to come get over on us? No, let's just get this thing done.
Yeah.
I'll get paid for what I did. I'll send my invoice out, get paid, and we can keep it moving. Next job. And so it wasn't until I was around people that were so negative that I realized how positive I was and how good my world was. It felt good to be the quote unquote naive person, like you don't know what you don't know. In that regard, to me, it felt good basking in that. I'll give everybody the benefit of the doubt and kumbaya and all is right with the world, as opposed to me thinking they're trying to get over on me, but I'm going to be one step ahead. Let's fight. That to me took too much energy. And I always say it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile, right? It takes more energy to be upset than it does to be happy, because happy is where I love to be. So for me, positive thinking without having to come across as a toxic positive person, I don't try to impose it on people that I know. Oh, just be happy, you're alive, you're breathing, you woke up this morning. Some people don't want to wake up this morning. So I don't impose it on other people, but I really bask in the positivity that I feel in my life, in my world. And it makes such a big difference in how I experience things and how I experience people, until when it's a time to be negative and upset about something. And so that's how I see it. And I appreciate you bringing this topic up, Dr. Jamesia, because like I said, these series of choices that I've recently made, and it yielded something that was unexpected. It helped me contrast like other previous times that I've made decisions from a good place and it turned out well. So I'm just now looking for the lessons in it so that I can take away and move forward and just be a better person. So thanks for that.
I love that. Thank you. And I'm going to just say, if you're out there listening to us, I know we're coming from, positive thinking, this, that, or the other. I just want you to know that, of course, if you're struggling with anything, please talk to someone. I just want to say that. But there is something that physically happens to the body when you think positively. You can really reduce your stress. You can reduce anxiety. You can reduce cortisol levels. There's something about thinking on a positive note that can really be physically moving to you and your spirit. So thank you, Carmel, for saying that. And I mean, I love it. I love the way you think. I know sometimes you can really get down and depressed and deep in something. But if you can try to pull yourself up through whatever meditation, motivation, or people around you, or movies, or music, or whatever, it really can help your body produce serotonin, produce endorphins, so that you can be healed physically. So thank you for that. Maika, what are your thoughts on this?
A lot, so I'm gonna try to keep it
You don't
succinct.
have to keep it anywhere.
No, because it's the whole. It's all. So when it like, for instance, for me, when it comes to my health, I'm positive thinker, whatever that means to people. But for me, all day long, like that's I'm very clear on that portion of my life. When it came to money in the past, absolutely not, right? Because it's not the same in all areas.
Yeah.
When it comes to thinking positively, it's so weird. You know, what's negative for one is like something. So when
Right.
So-
It's individually. It's individual.
it is, and so I was trying to, and I was trying to think, because so I was someone who was once very naive, and I was a very happy-go-lucky person, and things in life happened, and so then I wasn't. And I had already been raised to be very critical. And the way I was raised, it was almost like you have to find the problem so you can find a solution. You always have to find what's wrong so you can fix it. Nothing was ever particularly right. So I was already, you know, something isn't perfect. Oh no, something isn't perfect. Oh no, this is what's already happening in my mind. Then in my marriage, because of the constant fear that I lived under, and I'm saying this for people who do the mindset work or whatever it is everyone's doing and it's not working, there's a thing that happens when you are living in constant fear, dealing with trauma, where you actually cannot get into a positive mindset because your amygdala is overfiring and it actually starts to take over. So no matter what I was doing, I was constantly climbing out of a dark hole, not to mention the fact that I was actually dealing with depression at the same time. So I was constantly climbing out of a dark hole to the point where I could not see a way out. And in my mind, that stuff always works for everybody else, but it doesn't work for me. That was because that's what it looked like to me. These other people are doing things and their life is moving forward and we're evicted again. These other people are doing things and I'm trying to do the same thing and here I am at the food pantry. And so what I saw in my life was not indicative of the hours I spent meditating and the vision boards that I was making and all of that, which led me to believe there has to be something else besides how I'm thinking. That's the problem, because if it was that, it should be different. And it wasn't until more recently, maybe in the past 5 to 7 years, when I started to do other kinds of work, then I was able, then my thinking was able to change. So I could not think first, then change. The constant thinking for me and trying to make it work that way, like the affirmations weren't working. None of that felt like it was making any difference in my life. Now it does, but I've connected it to something else. So I'm saying this for the folks who feel like, you know, they've been doing all of the positive thinking things and nothing is working. There may be some other pieces that are playing in. For me, it was deep-seated trauma that wouldn't allow my brain to it wouldn't allow me to relax
Mhm.
in order for me to see anything differently. And I had to deal with that first
Mhm.
before I could get to the point where I could relax enough to go, yes, things are working out in my favor. It doesn't look like how I want it to look like, but yeah, it's working out in my favor. And to try and reclaim some of that part of myself that I had when I was younger, where, yeah, the world is open, everything can work out for me. It's now I'm starting to get that part of myself back into play. But it took
Mhm.
years to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can appreciate that because, again, it's all individual. Like we said, it's all individual. And we all, even on this panel right now, have so different upbringings, different lifestyles, different careers, different talking points, whatever that may be. However, there are certain things, like for me, when I said this cruise, the people that I met, even though my mind is, okay, I want a jet. I want my family to be able to get on this jet. I want you guys to be able to get on this jet. We can do whatever and set it off, right? But to have someone sitting next to me saying, yeah, I wanted to have this lifestyle and this is what I did, that triggered for me, like, okay, I need to, and I think big, but I was like, I need to think bigger. I need to think bigger, I need to open my mind to more.
You know
So
what's interesting? Oh, go ahead. I want to say something.
no. What's
No,
interesting?
what's interesting is that to me, that's a given.
Mhm.
So for instance, like I don't look at my lifestyle in terms of necessarily wealth, which I think we're trained to do in this country, and I think causes
Mhm.
a lot of stress for people. So it's like
Mhm.
I need to have my lifestyle look like I have a lot of money. No, I need to have a lifestyle where I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I have. Now,
Yeah.
in order to have that lifestyle, there are things that I'm sacrificing.
Mhm.
But it doesn't matter because I want a lifestyle where my time is my own and I can do what I want to do. So if I say to myself, "Oh, I want a lifestyle where I'm in an RV," I don't think twice about that. I'm like, absolutely, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That part easy.
Yeah. And then look, listen to this too. There was another couple, like I said, who they're bus drivers and they actually they have a PO box.
Mm,
They they're mobile
Yep.
mm.
and they love it. Like it is
Yes.
whatever your mind wants.
So,
Look at
but
life.
you know what and it's interesting, Janicia, because it's whatever the mind wants, but some of us are so limited. We are so in our own world. And just like what Maisha was saying, we think that wealth looks like money, but wealth could look like freedom, the freedom that
Freedom.
Maisha was talking about, but we don't even know how to differentiate the two. And so we think we need money to jump in an RV and travel the world because we don't know what it entails. And of course that would take research, but sometimes it takes meeting those bus drivers who are mobile, and it takes meeting that millionaire who lives on a ship, and it takes meeting these people to kind of say, oh my God, my world is so small. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling right
Mm-hmm.
now. Like the
Right.
possibilities are endless, and we're told possibilities are endless, but I don't know what the heck these possibilities are because I've never been exposed to them. My mind cannot travel there.
Yeah. So exactly. So their concept was, I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to pay these particular bills. I don't want to maintain a heater, whatever. I want to be
Mhm.
free. I want to travel. I want to be out here. That's their concept, their mindset of
Yes.
how they want their life to be. Just like
Yes.
when Coco called me and said, I want this resort lifestyle. So the next place I pick out is going to have the gym, the pool, the this, the that, the view, the this, that's what I want. Right.
By the
So,
way, Maurice says lifestyles of the rich and famous put us in a trick bag.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't it, Maurice? It did. So, I just so loved meeting different people with different
Yeah.
mindsets from mine.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I love that you so easily speak to people like this. And I
Yes.
love that. I like my cousins are like that. Me, I'm more reserved. And if I'm with them, I'll be all up in the
All in,
Kool-Aid,
right?
right, all in. But for me to kind of like you, I love that. And I want to start practicing that. Because it's beautiful to
It
meet
is.
people in that way and also expand on your own mindset and what's available to you as people, as human beings traveling this earth in this country. There was another point I wanted to make, but I can't remember right now. So let me yield. I'll come back to it.
Hey, no, that's really, that's really the conversation. And I did want to, I mean, there are times when you have to use your mind to take yourself somewhere else to be able to be where you are.
Yeah.
And I, as you all know, have been doing that for the last 24 to 48 hours. And I thank God for my
Hey, Thomas.
Thomas. I thank God for my meditation practices. I thank God for my journaling. And I just thank God for the power of prayer in my life to be able to take my mind somewhere to allow me to be where I'm at. So yeah. And it takes me reaching out to a friend who is living the life that I've been dreaming of for years and trusting Spirit's guidance and cues. Amen to that. Amen to that. So.
And I love that, especially because back to what you said before about being in the flow, trusting the guidance and the spirit within us, that will take us. I know in my heart that will take us to those infinite possibilities that we don't know anything about. Like I never thought I would end up here and look at this, look at where I am. So yeah, and that's a practice too. Listening to guidance and spirit and going with the flow and trusting your feelings no matter how many people say that's crazy. You want to do what? No, that's not the way it's done. And just kind of saying, you know what? I think I'm just going to trust myself and see where it takes me. If I fail, there was a book, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Was that Toni Morrison? I can't remember.
It is Toni Morrison. That is Toni Morrison.
Right? So she leaves off with this younger guy from in the neighborhood and everybody's talking because when she comes back with just like a bag on her back and she comes back empty-handed and without this younger man that she left town with. But the story in between her leaving and coming back, the story in between was exceptional. And it was all like a free flow. This is what happened. And here I am. And this is where I am. And there was a sense of complacency in there. And there was a sense of, I had this adventure and that's then I experienced it. I lived it. And that flow. So that's what just came to mind when we were just talking about this. So.
Zora, Kathy, yes, thank you, Kathy. I was thinking that too. Zora
Oh, Zora
Neale
Neale
Hurston.
Hurston. Oh, I thought it was Toni Morrison. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, and I love that. I've had to learn to have the balance because everything I do is fly by the seat of my pants, really. And it's feel first, think later. And I think it's because I've had children who that they have been the only thing that has pinned me down in any kind of way because I felt like they needed to have some, even though they did not have any stability. Until like 10 years ago, but I felt like they needed to have some stability. But otherwise, that was me. It was like, and there's something to that flow, but then finding the balance of that, right? And so for me, in the way that I've learned how to live is that it's the flow that guides us, and it's the mind that sets the plan. Whereas in this society, we do it very much the opposite way. A lot of times the mind is there going, but how, but what? I don't know if this can be done. And flow is over here like, would you just
Do it?
Just do it. And I'm telling you, it's going to work out. So I'll go with I'll be like, this is what I have. And it does oftentimes look very crazy to a lot of people. And I recognize that and I question myself. But even if it turns out to be what some might call a mistake, for me, it's never a mistake because it's always like, oh, wow, I learned something. That's my naive part. It's like, Well, that was quite an adventure. I learned something there. That kind of got screwed up. Okay, well, what are we gonna do next? And it's just like, all right, well, let's go back to the drawing board kind of thing, right? But I think if we learn to live in that flow and don't ask ourselves why, like, I feel like I need to take a year and just go live in another country. Well, why would you want to do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do this and give the mic back over. My eldest, my bonus daughter, she always wanted to live in California. None of us, not her stepmama's family, not her daddy's family, not her mom's family. Nobody lived in California, not a relative to be found out there. She just had never visited, just knew she wanted to live in California. So a couple of years ago, she put her stuff in storage in DC and packed her stuff up and moved to LA. And the first year it was rough, and she's calling me and she's like, why am I here? And I don't know. And she's going through the motions, but she stayed there. And now she's calling me about this opportunity happened and that opportunity happened. But she just knew there was no logical reason. She just knew that was where she needed to be. And so that's where she's been for the past 3 years. And she figured it out. She didn't have an apartment. She figured it out after she got there.
Yeah.
So
I love that story.
I love that too. I do. And it said it didn't look exactly like I imagined, but if all I relied on was my mental picture, I probably would be missing it.
Yes.
Yeah. And so as we come to a close, don't think about it. Just be in the flow and get your ticket to our workshop on November the 9th.
Oh, I like the way you just
to our website.
that was a flow.
You need to be there with us in person, learning from us ladies about all things that we deal with our health, with our mindset, with our money, with our sexuality, with our pleasure and relationships. And with that being said, we will close out this live podcast, Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And we will see you in the next video or podcast. Bye, y'all.
Bye. That was so good, Jamesia. Thank you.